Well, there he is, sitting at his table, eating his lunch. My brother, Andy Sperry.
Finished with
And
lunch.
I'm the guy on the left, that's Dave. And I'll turn down this intro music so we can get to our post debate. So, what are your thoughts on the debate last night, Andy?
That was a debate. That was a real debate last night. I like that. That's what they call a debate.
Yeah. They were talking about something besides Trump's hair.
Trump's hair, Trump's policies, Trump's wall,
Trump's clowns.
Trump's armpits, Trump's Mexican policy.
Trump's wall. Didn't hear anything about a wall last night.
No, there wasn't anything. I didn't even hear the word wall. Did you hear the word wall?
No. Not even in reference to something not southern Mexico.
Yeah,
I don't know what. It was just like a different planet, maybe.
I guess, it's like a whole different place to be when you're watching a Democratic debate. I mean, and it was funny because I even had the energy to continue and watch even the after program on CNN a little bit.
Yeah, it didn't wear you down.
Everybody's like, well, that went fast. That went really fast.
Yeah.
Bernie's like, yeah, I think that did go fast,
Yeah, I saw him, that interview, yeah.
So, I mean, it was, when you have substantive issues that you're debating, and whether you agree with their points or not, I mean, they were arguing issues. They weren't just name calling and putting people down and trying to make a point all the time. I mean, there was some grandstanding in there, but it wasn't like our buddy out there in Texas, Mr. What's his face from Texas, Cruz,
Cruz.
Yeah. He'll get out there with that, here he is.
I don't know about these Democrats.
I don't think that was. Now, wait on it. The 1856.
Maybe you just take those emails and stuff them, Ted. Stuff them.
I think that should have been the whole debate right there, were Hillary's emails.
Well,
I
think we're going to get something done, Ted.
Are you hanging on that? Are you hanging? Are you waiting for me to talk?
A little hyper there, Ted. Maybe we'll just talk about the country and the 99%, and as opposed to whoever's supporting your cause.
Who are you, Dick Cheney?
Well, no. It's kind of crazy to think.
Was that Mallory or whatever his name is? Mallory?
No, that's Byrne. That's the Byrne.
No, that's the Byrne. That's the Byrne.
Okay, well, that's your Byrne. This is my Byrne.
Let's have Burns talk. Let's have Byrne and Byrne talk.
This is calm Byrne. This is Byrne, before the debate, and yours is Byrne after the debate, post debate.
Post debate Byrne.
Right. This is Byrne looking in the mirror over here. Like I'm going to go out there and be calm, and then. Actually, he still remains calm, but he kind of has like an expressive intensity. So it always seems like everything he talks about is intense.
It's a great character. I mean, he's perfect for a cartoonist. I mean, he's got the perfect face. I love his clothing. I want to design or maybe get Adam to design Bernie's clothing line. He's got that schlumpy look. It's just and it fits him perfectly. It's not like he's bad.
My name is Ivanka. I can't believe you had a debate last night without my father. I love my father. He loves me. Ivanka was interviewed I guess that was me. I was interviewed this week, and I told them all about my daddy. He's so sweet.
Who's
your Bernie? Daddy? Bernie, I give you kisses. Ivanka.
So who is your daddy, Ivanka? Is it Ivanka?
Who's my daddy? You asking who's my daddy? Ivanka? My daddy's Trump. He buy you.
Don't you think you ought to be paying a little bit more in taxes and supporting the rest of the people in the world instead of always eating bonbons and sitting on your couch?
I work for a living, Mr. Bernie.
Oh, who's your daddy?
My daddy is Mr. Trump.
Oh.
Except for I don't think she sounds like her mom, Which her mom has kind of been left in the dust, and he's got his 20-year-old wife who is so sophisticated that actually she could play both roles. My name is Milan.
I was going to say.
I look just alike my Ivanka daughter, stepdaughter.
It's not like differences in Bernie. I mean, you can only do one Bernie. I mean, or for that matter, one Cruz,
Bernie is an original.
He is an original.
Well, I thought it was kind of hard for the other three characters to kind of break into the action last night. The army guy, Wed, he was so kind of on another wavelength. It was hard for him to kind of come to conclusions and to make sense because he wasn't being called on.
Yeah, he made a point of that too.
Yeah, and the guy from Rhode Island, he was just checked out. He was kind of, he couldn't get a whole sentence out. And then the guy, what's the other guy's name? That Baltimore guy?
Mallory?
Mallory or Mallard or he made some good points, but he just doesn't have a lot of exposure. You don't know him from a lot of things.
No, he hasn't been out in the beyond Maryland. I mean, he has. He's been out campaigning, but he doesn't seem to be drawing the crowds. I think this is one of those cases where he may just be a little bit too smooth. It sounds like he's done the things that would be in line with what the party is talking about, and I think he believes what he's talking about too. I don't think he's just doing it for to be. I'm sure he'd like to be president.
I like his record. I mean, I think he sounds like he's done some good things in Baltimore to try to bring him, up from some of the killings. And
a lot of people blame him for, the conditions because he brought in police and he brought in, put more money into law enforcement and cutting down violence and drugs and tried to make the city get cleaned up. And then now he's
well, it sounded pretty bad.
Lambasted because the police got maybe just a little bit too big for their britches there in Baltimore, maybe, or maybe I don't really know what the situation in Baltimore was. Other than I know that people. One kid got isn't that's the one? I mean, there's so many of these incidences where there's young black men are being shot, or old black men for that matter.
Yeah, everybody. Well, I thought there was a good emphasis on the NRA last night in terms of doing something about their, pushing the guns. And Bernie was back on his heels a little bit. I mean, he still stood up for gun rights, which is fine. But, this thing where you can't do anything about it is pretty pathetic. If you try to stand behind that without some measure of enforcement like gun shows or some other things that you can definitely do things about.
Well, I think
he needs to do something.
I think for someone who obviously wants to protect the rights of gun owners in the Second Amendment, and I agree with that. I don't think that you hand over your gun rights to the government. I mean, that's a sure way to get ourselves squashed by whomever might jump into office and decide just to eliminate people like you and me who disagree with about everybody on everything. I mean, I think that we'd be easy marks, but at the same time.
But selling to underage people and selling to people that shouldn't have them because of their mental capacity. I mean, we can still do some of those things.
But that's, I think, though, that and I do think that, if left to, if the gun owners don't do anything about it, if they don't take on the responsibility in this day and age of dealing with mental illnesses and dealing with, young people who are confused and, in inner cities and poor, most of the time being violent because they're acquiring guns that can be purchased with ease. I mean, if our gun owners aren't going to do anything about it, if they're not going to stand up and create their own way to regulate gun owners, then the government steps in and does that because that's the number one job of government is to protect the people. I mean, government has to do that.
It seems a country this size could figure it out. You know, there's so many countries that do figure it out.
What I don't get is they got an organization already, NRA, which does a lot of things to make people aware of guns, and they provide a lot of programs and a lot of tracts and books on how to use guns safely and how to store them safely and how to, they do a lot of the right things, but then they go out and they support, the gun manufacturers and the ammunition manufacturers to the point that, it just proliferates all over the place, and there's no responsibility to control that. And it seems to me that a good bit of that money going to NRA ought to be spent on creating some sort of system that protects the friggin' gun owners, people who want to protect themselves, like people say, or want to go hunting, or scared of their government. I mean,
there's a way to do it. There's a way to
do it, but I think people got to do it. If the government does it, it can get out of hand. I don't think, like last night, I don't think those folks in the Democratic Party who are running for president, any of them we should fear that are going to come take away our guns. But like they talk about Obama taking away the guns, it's ridiculous.
No, any answer has to be many things that are done, not just one thing. And it has to be people in the communities, and it has to be gun owners, and it has to be gun shop owners, and it has to be manufacturers. I mean, anybody that produces other kinds of things are asked to do things to help so people don't, hurt themselves using their products. So, it just seems like it can be done. The other thing that was interesting last night.
Yeah, instead of being protected by gun owners, they're scared of gun owners, and that's not a good thing. I mean, most 99% of your gun owners are nobody to be scared of. They might hurt themselves by having an accident, but most, they're legitimate. But unfortunately, there's a small percentage of people out there who are able to acquire guns that don't have any business having a gun. And unfortunately, it's the gun owner's responsibility to do everything they can to make sure that people who are mentally ill or who have sorry, interrupted there. I don't know if I do good on the stump speech, but I definitely feel that I'm strong in favor of Second Amendment rights, but at the same time, gun owners got to take on the responsibility of doing something about it. And if the NRA isn't going to do anything to protect gun owners' rights, and that's regulating the militia. It doesn't say the government has to regulate the militia, but it has to be a regulated militia. And this one is not regulated right now.
I just think everybody needs to look themselves in the mirror and have compassion for their fellow man and understand that everybody is responsible. So I think it's everybody.
I bet you most gun owners feel that way, but they're, that on the other hand, part of them too are just fear that somebody's going to, create laws that are going to take their guns away. And, it's not too many steps away from doing that if you get the wrong person in the presidency. I don't think that's Bernie. At least he made himself clear on that last night. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think any of those Democratic candidates would be in favor of taking everybody's guns away.
Well, I don't think it's an either or a black and white issue. I think there are many things that can be done that won't take away any rights, that will just provide a measure of security and allow people to kind of have a heads up if something's doesn't seem right, to maybe stop some of the things that go on, and then also so people are encouraged to think through what they're doing, and starting at a younger age, because a lot of the people that are going for guns, they just think it's an alternative that's just part of their culture. So there's something that has to be started in many areas, but I don't know. It's hard to do it just in one conversation. So what else in that debate was interesting to you?
They're gonna need to do something to push their agency that has power, the NRA, to create some sort of system that they self-regulate, so that then what government can do is, if you're not abiding by self-regulation, then you're open territory. I mean, if you can't be self-regulated, then what can you be? Then you must be something that we really don't need like a foreign army in our soil, which we have a few of those wandering and traipsing around Kansas and other places. So
yeah, a lot of militia.
The government has to have a way to protect us from people that just aren't in their right mind, you know. But most gun owners are in their right mind. That's so. It's
I agree with that. I don't think that there's a high percentage of people that are, you know, like the ones that have made the worst decisions and killed a lot of people. But I think there's a lot of people that get killed that don't even show up in these events that are covered, you know, on a daily basis in all these cities.
Oh, yeah.
It's a culture that
cities, you know, all the kids, and a lot of them are black, you know, getting involved in all these gun crimes. I mean, it's
a desperate culture. I mean, just imagine if you were that age and you felt like that's the only thing that you could do. It just, I mean, or your mind is just all about getting a gun and doing some whatever they're calling it, but it just, you know, there's got to be another way to encourage people to just find something else to do besides this. You know, there's a life to be lived that's much more enjoyable.
That you have,
so that's just another thing that can be done.
Would be a good thing. So I don't know. You know, Bernie says, where's Bernie? Everybody should have a college education provided by.
Yeah, I thought that was a good topic last night. I mean, when you see that there's a 1,200% increase since the 70s in the cost of colleges.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You and I are both paying those bills right now.
And the income of people has not gone up anywhere near that, except for the 1%. Their income, the 1%'s income may have gone up that much.
And Hillary, you have Hillary, but Hillary, you know,
I'm just going to make Ivanka Hillary. I am Hillary. I'm looking younger for last night's debate.
Hillary, you have an accent.
She.
What happened, Hillary?
I don't know, but I'm feeling better.
That's not Hillary. That's Ivanka Trump.
All my people got blown away from my desk in a flurry of cleaning of some kind.
Maybe it's time for
a beer break.
Wait a second.
I'll have a sparkling water break.
I've got a question.
All right, what's your question? Taking all questions. We're on the ocean today.
Bazoomi.
Yes.
You've been around for a while, and you're certainly an outsider. Why aren't you running for the Republican nomination?
Well, in the Republic of Bazoobi, everybody is their own president.
Yeah. What's your platform?
My surfboard is my platform.
My surfboard is
I think everyone should figure out how to be the best person they can be and quit taking advantage of everyone.
Bazoobi, what's your position? What's your position on the wall?
Wall? I don't know, wall. We'll be together someday, so we all should start working together.
I mean, I guess, you know, Hillary mentioned something that I thought was important last night, though, and she will definitely probably caught the ear of people who will still listen to her, because unfortunately, the Republicans have done their worst. Although the thing is, I think they probably did it all too soon, because I do believe it will blow over by the time.
I think people see right through that. I mean, that's all the Republicans have done for 8 years, is they tried to take out Obama and not vote on anything, and now they tried to take out Hillary, and really, it's just like the length of their debates. It's like everybody falls asleep. It's the same thing over and over. Yep. Even the Republicans get tired of it. It's like, come on, be a little more creative. Can you be creative enough to do something? And they just can't. And they're blowing themselves up now. I mean, when the guy that was going to be the new speaker blows himself up, there's something something about their self that doesn't even trust their self anymore. You know, like they have to admit what they're doing, even though they don't even have control over their message anymore.
No, they self-combust. And they, you know, and the thing is it doesn't really even take left-leaning articles and newspapers. I mean, granted, I don't know. Where do you feel the New York Times is? I think they're...
Oh, I think it's the left. But
they're left side. But
I think they report things. I don't, you know,
right.
I think that they do lean to the left, though. They have a longer discussion of items as opposed to something right typically is like, this is the way it is, nothing's open to discussion. Going to the left is like, this is the way it is, and there's many ways of looking at it. So it's kind of like a funny read, you know, you kind of tell where you're at on the length of what it is. The conservatives just don't want to expand on anything unless it's a diatribe that tries to explain something like, oh, there isn't, what's this?
Oh, it's an article in the New York Times about family funding, families funding the White House.
Well, everybody's funding it in one way or another.
Republican campaigns.
How'd you like that thing on the that thing on TV last week with Charles Koch?
Koch?
I thought that was kind of interesting. I thought he kind of opened up. I actually was agreeing with some of the things he was saying when he had a chance to kind of emphasize, you know, why he didn't want to have control in certain areas. But I think it's kind of funny that several of the areas that they want control in have to do with their business pursuits.
Well,
they don't want to be regulated and
have plenty of ability to control the government and what kinds of decisions it makes concerning industry, and specifically his industry, which is what, the energy industry and petrochemicals.
Right.
And I can understand that, but that doesn't make it right.
No,
I mean,
you want people fracking the world away.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We need a lot of regulation on types of energy that you like to spit out. I mean, and yeah, it's going to cost you some extra money. But guess what? You're going to make that money back because you're going to charge us the extra money anyway. Who are you, you have to be competitive with the other industries that are out there that offer maybe safer or cheaper or energy that's alternative energies. Yeah, you've got to be able to compete. You don't get the only fast lane while everybody else has to, suffer behind you. I don't know. I get where he comes from, but that doesn't make him right.
Seems like there's little reaction to the debate last night from the conservative side. It's like they're just like staying away from any comments on.
Well, that would mean they actually had to join the debate. When was the last time you actually heard a Republican join a debate?
I guess it's all pre-decided, yeah.
Just tell you how life is and how you should live it. They don't actually debate.
Well, like telling a woman what she should do with her body,
That's the way life is.
Yeah.
I need a Republican. But that's just the way life is. There is no other way.
And that's the way it was written a long time ago, and it should always be that way. You know who that guy looks like? He looks like the guy from Forbes. He looks like Steve Forbes.
Steve Forbes here.
Yeah.
No, Jeb. It's Jeb.
Oh, Jeb. Jeb's having a hard time. No matter now his commercials, it's like they've sped up the tape, so it sounds like he's talking faster. It's like that doesn't even sound like him anymore. It's like, what are you doing to that tape?
He's definitely got he's definitely got some issues messing around with. Although compare Bush to Hillary. Performance of where Bush is. And no one's really on the Democratic side has even attacked anything that Bush is really saying.
No.
Everybody's ignored him on the Democratic side. Whereas if you look at Hillary, she's had to defend herself against this Republican onslaught almost since birth.
Yeah.
she sits up there every time and just says, "Yeah, well, she gives hers right back." I mean, you definitely got to. You got to respect that kind of tenacity and the ability to keep the argument and herself under control and dealing with those issues. Did you see her relief last night, though, when Bernie actually said what he said about her.
Oh, the emails. Yeah,
enough
with the emails.
No one cares about your damn emails.
Yeah, I thought that was a great line.
And you could see like this whole big relief thing just went. Oh, good. I'm not going to have to debate that tonight.
Yeah.
This will be over. She had that big smile on her face, and they went on to some other issue. And then they came back to Hillary and said, would you like to respond to that, Hillary? And she's still smiling, and she says, no.
Yeah, about her character. Yeah.
That was really good on her part.
Well, that was almost going a little.
Last night when she came back, I don't know, second or third round, and they went to the bathroom, I assume, and she came back late, I guess. And because Anderson Cooper was talking about, well, we were worried about everybody making it back on time, or making it back is what he said. And I thought, oh, man, Webb's probably left because he's teed off or wanted to leave. And then it was Hillary, and she's sitting there in the middle kind of going, well, it takes us a little bit longer.
Yeah. Well,
I like that.
I think that it's really time for a woman to lead the country. I mean, if Britain could have Thatcher lead and India could have a woman lead, and I think the United States is about time we grew up and knocked off the, oh, well, she's bad because of this and she's bad because of that. I mean, she handled herself pretty darn well. You know,
I think so too.
She sounded like she understands the complexities of international relationships. She's actually worked at it. Instead of trying to narrow it down, that's all the Republicans have been doing, is trying to narrow everything down from Obama to Hillary to one sentence, this is why they're bad. And they're a lot more complex than that. And that's why it's so nice to see her in public, you know, live, because it comes back to realizing, oh yeah, she knows what's going on, unless you know, she's just being berated in some, you know, kangaroo court that, you know, the starter guy's been having.
Not just because she's a woman, but because she does have that kind of background and has for a long period of time. And most Democrats are not going to, if she's your candidate, they're not going to be swayed by any of these Republicans. I think the only Republican I think any Democrat could possibly be swayed by would be Ohio's governor, and the rest of them they're laughing at.
Well, I think Kasich has been sticking his foot in his mouth lately.
I'm sure he is, but he's got to try to attract in order to be able to become, you know, the candidate. That's part of the problem with the Republicans, is they've got such a you know, an end of their party that's so hate-filled and so divisive, and just wants, you know, everybody to get the hell out of here. You know, it's you know, leave me alone. It's like they're singing a constant country song. Better leave us all alone.
They think it's just their country, and it's just like
we built it. We built it. We built it.
And this is the way we run it.
You didn't build it, Republicans. Damn, the people who work for you built it.
Yeah, well, the intensity release.
You just made a lot of money off of it. Somebody else built the damn thing. You just made money off of it, which I got to give you credit, you know. But you didn't build it. I mean, it bugs the crap out of me.
That was a funny one when they started that stuff. They tried to play gotcha. I thought it was good last night when Obama opened up with you know, I'm still gonna be around. I'm still gonna be, you know, getting votes. You know, let's go get him. You know, he's just he's so calm. I love he did that interview this week with the guy from 60 Minutes, and that guy tried to gotcha all night long with Obama, and Obama said, "Oh, okay, so Putin's is the only one with a strategy," and he goes, "Okay." If a guy only has one partner and that partner's going down, and you go and you start blowing things up because that partner's going down, that's a good strategy? And it was just like he laid him out, you know. It's just the calmness that he does it with is just funny to watch.
Well, he's just that intelligent. He's so intelligent. Republicans just constantly, not the, you know, most Republicans who are smart themselves, and there are some of them, would never berate him on his intelligence. But a lot of people do, and they, you know, they thought Bush W was intelligent. You know, maybe to fly a plane, but to run a country, you know, he wasn't very intelligent. Everybody has different types of intelligence.
A lot of intelligent Republicans. I think they're probably pretty mad that their party has been hijacked by a bunch of far right people and a bunch of people that are like TV show hosts.
Oh, the guy
it's crazy.
Oh, the guy from that's one thing I learned
or
last
Dick
night.
Cheney coming back from the dead.
Island. He was, he was a Republican. It's like I couldn't work there anymore.
Yeah,
he threw me out.
Yeah, the guy from Rhode Island.
That's like pretty
Chafee.
Funny.
Yeah,
Chafee. Yeah, definitely pro.
He seemed lost. He just.
Well, I think it's.
I landed here at the Democratic debate. I don't know why.
And he was really kind of maybe prepared for it. Maybe that's just his personality. I kind of liked him though. I liked him, but I wasn't. I don't know about presidential material. You'd have to see him in a few more debates before I could judge that. But yeah. I kind of like this. He's kind of, he took the questions, he took them, and didn't seem like he was blowing crap up my butt like all the Republicans are always doing. And Clinton will blow crap up your butt too. And that, that just jams the wrong way sometimes. You're like,
I don't think
I'd
want to be there.
Just answer the question, Hillary. Just answer the damn question. Stop, going around it 6 or 7 different ways because they're so skilled at trying to get you to not pay attention to what the real question was.
So do you really think Joe will really make a
comeback?
A comeback or decide that he might want to try it?
I don't know. After last night's debate, he's got to kind of go, well, where am I going to fit in with all of the people up there already? I guess maybe
it seemed like there was many people there last night. There was just like somebody sitting around a card table. You could actually hear them when they had something to say. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was well done. I mean, but I think that comes from people who really do want to talk about the issues and do care about the issues. That's the problem with the Republican Party. They care about 1 or 2 issues, and the rest of them they won't talk about.
I don't even think they care about those issues. They care about control.
They care about making sure that, we remain a capitalist country that protects the wealthy financiers and make sure that, big energy is protected. And, they care about those things for sure.
But their profits are taken care of.
Some of them do have their points about, abortion and other issues. They have, usually religious, moralistic issues.
But those are personally held beliefs that they want to shackle everybody with, that everybody has to have the law according to their personal beliefs. And they put it on the front like it's a hood ornament, except for it covers everything else. And then they keep ramming that down everybody's throat, and then they make up stuff. The big lie. I mean, they are the party of the big lie, and they have been since Reagan, probably.
Yeah. I mean, Reagan wasn't as bad.
And they even lie about Reagan.
But I can remember thinking back when Reagan was thinking he was blowing shit up your ass. And, it was 99% of the time, especially remember Iran-Contra? All that stuff that was going on with that. Yeah. I mean, it was just like, between that and, I don't know, there were so many things that went through that. And I was in college and I can remember those kinds of things.
Well, you know what? We've hit the half-hour mark, so we're going to have to kind of think about what are we going to talk about next week.
I don't know. Maybe not such heavy, weighty issues.
I know. I just feel worn out.
Maybe we'll abort next week.
All right. Well, we'll come up with something. I'm sure it'll be very interesting. But it's been great. And that's it. That's it. My brother Andy on the left. I'm Dave on the. No, I'm on the left. He's on the right. And we, we're Sperry Brothers Inc., and if you stayed along to hear the end of this, thanks for watching. We sure appreciate it. We'll be back with more of our unimportant opinions whenever we get the energy. So, everybody take care.
Beer break.